for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back from the video, and today I'm bringing you guys another pass defense and run defense. This one's going to come to us out of the big nickel over G in the 4-6 playbook. I'm not in the 4-6 playbook, but it's the most popular one. I'm just in the Chiefs playbook, but again, it's in 4-6, Chiefs, Giants, a lot of playbooks with this big nickel over G formation that is really good. It's definitely one of the best formations, probably a top 3 formation. You got pretty much it all in this formation. Good run D, good pass D. So I'm going to supply you guys with another pass defense. The reason that this formation is so good is just because it is good stock against the run, so that you don't really have to, make a ton of adjustments to stop both the run and the pass. You can kind of come out in it stock, set up your pass defense, and still defend the run pretty decent. So the play we're running today is going to be the cover 2, just base cover 2. We're going to obviously make a lot of adjustments out of it. First things first, we're going to adjust our zone drops here. We're going to set our flats to 20 yards and our curl flats to 5 yards. I don't adjust my hook zones. I mean, you can if you want. Also, what you're going to do, make sure that you do go to the slot cornerback package, just like this. That's going to give you the normal adjustments. If you don't do that, you will have different adjustments, so be careful about that. Now, also, you want to have some safeties here at linebacker. I'm not sure why these guys are super low overall, but I mean, we can rock with them. Obviously, speed is really the only thing that matters, so we can obviously do that, and then you can sub in corners at safety if you don't have enough people, just like I did to get Darnell Savage right here. But yeah, with that being said, let's hop out in the defense. I'm just going to come out in the stock cover 2, and yeah, we'll see you on the field. Alright, now I came out in just a 5 wide play. Jesus. Alright, now I came out in just this 5 wide play, show you, a ton of routes, 5 routes out on the field, how it defends everything. We got a little smash concept on offense. But yeah, we'll start out with the setup. What you do, now usually I'm not going to press, so I'm going to actually baseline here, and then I'm just going to pinch my defensive line. So I just baseline, pinch my D-line. You don't have to necessarily baseline if you don't want to, but I like that linebacker in a little bit tighter. But yeah, let's start out with the adjustments. Now, first things first, what you're going to do is you're going to throw A in a curl flat. We're going with a little Mabel style of defense. We're going to double flat on both sides, especially in formation like 5 wide where the field is so spread out. They're going to attack high-low reads on probably both sidelines, so this is kind of a necessary adjustment. So we put that slot corner in a curl flat. The way you do that is just double tap Y or triangle, press A or X on PlayStation, and then push that left stick to the right side, put them in a curl flat. We're going to do the same thing with their D lineman, but we're obviously going to use this guy so that we have someone on the left and the right. So double tap the D-pad to the left, press X or square, and push that left stick to the right side, just like this. So here's just our stock defense. This is going to be the first setup. Obviously, we do have a little bit of weakness in the middle. So that's going to be kind of your area to watch, especially if there's like a tight end streak, because that can be, very costly, can be a touchdown. But just the base 3-man rush, and this is the base setup. You're going to actually user the mid read because we want the vert hook on the field. So we're going to user the mid read, put your user on a blitz to get them to user better, and we will have them just go ahead and snap the ball. Going to user this deep tight end, and you see very quick pressure, corner routes covered, hitch routes covered as well. So very, very good. And also, big nickel over G is pretty good with pressure, so you can actually only rush 3 and end up getting a lot of pressure, something I really like to do out of the formation. Honestly, I do feel like rushing 3 is better than rushing 4 this year. For whatever reason, I find myself getting way more pressure rushing 3 people than I do 4. Again, that might just be me, but it is something that I experience a lot in almost all my games. So really rushing 4, there's not much of a reason for it. But again, the setup, I don't have to base the line, but I do have to pinch my D-line. Just simply throw A in a curl flat and throw your defensive end on that left side in a curl flat as well. Very easy setup. It's really only 3 adjustments, so there's not a high percentage that you would be able to get quick snapped without getting these adjustments off, unless you really don't know how to do, your adjustments. But very basic adjustments, I would say, again, for the first setup, just like this. I mean, if you do want, you can also press your defense. I'm not the biggest fan, but obviously your flats, your quad flats will not be pressing because they're set to 20 yards, so it's not really a worry. They will just back up anyways, and you see it's not the biggest problem. Right there, you see, again, we actually got very quick pressure. I know that Z Smith does have abilities, Zadarius Smith, but still, I do recommend obviously getting a couple of D-line abilities, especially if you are rushing 3 people. I got some double or nothings myself. But yeah, you saw very quick pressure, very good coverage, forcing Daniel Jones to scramble out of the pocket. So I'll show that one more time. Again, I just pinched my D-line. You can also press. If you want this guy a little bit further out, because you notice he starts right here. If you press, he comes down and aligns with that slot wide receiver. A in a curl flat, X in a curl flat as well. So again, you're just putting that slot cornerback in it, putting the opposite defensive end in it as well, putting your user on a blitz here, and then defending the middle of the field. This is a really nice coverage or defense, I feel like, just because as he almost throws a pick. This is a really nice defense because you also have another yellow zone, so you don't have to cover as much ground with your user. That kind of allows you to defend the middle of the field by yourself. But let's move on to the next step. What I would do if he's attacking the deep middle of the field. What I would do is just, again, set it up pretty much the exact same. A and a curl flat, X and a curl flat, but obviously what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one of these guys in the middle third like this, and obviously I do have the responsibility of defending the middle of the field by myself, but I don't have to worry about anything deep, and I can defend, lurk on shallow slants, things like that. I actually like to have this guy kind of short because the odds of him getting beat down the field are very low, especially with the fast safety. So that allows me to, or this guy would actually do a pretty good job of defending like post routes because of how low he is, unlike a cover 3 style of defense. So again, we'll have them snap it. You see now that I don't have to worry about that little fade / post kind of option route with the tight end. And again, we get very quick pressure. So setting it up, we got A in a curl flat, X in a curl flat, and then just A in the middle third. Again, pinching your D-line. Pinching your D-line does give you better sheds, I believe. So I recommend pinching your D-line, especially with these outside guys. They definitely get better sheds, I believe, with that little adjustment. So again, we'll have them snap the ball. I don't have to worry about the middle of the field. You see Zadarius Smith is again getting pressure, and he's going to scramble out. So obviously, if he's scrambling out, we can kind of adjust to that. And if he were to be a big scrambler, we can actually only send 2, so I don't have to send 3. A lot of people are sending 2 this year. A lot of pro players do that. So again, don't be afraid to only rush 2 people, especially if you know he has escape artist. He's spending 3 AP on that ability. You kind of want to neutralize it, and look, he's forced to step up in the pocket instead of scrambling out, and that's when our D lineman can still collapse. So still a pretty timely rush, only sending 2 people, although good defensive linemen. So let's move on to a different setup I like out of this cover 2. So what I like to do is I like to actually man both these players up. So I'm going to man up A on RB, and I'm going to make sure I press my defense as well. So I'm going to set it up like this. I got 2 people manned up. This is just a complete, coverage setup. So we man up those 2 slot receivers. What we're going to do is throw X in a curl flat and B in a curl flat. So here we're sending 2. We got the interior D lineman. And again, this is a setup I run a lot around the goal line because really, B, is he going to be on a post route? If he is, you can user it. If he's on like a slant. But really what you're watching is going to be the tight end. He could send X on a drag. Not very many people send those outside receivers on like drag routes this year. But obviously if they do, then that's going to be a little bit of your responsibility. But again, you just want to mix in different setups, different types of plays. That time I did kind of bail on the tight end, and he was able to scramble out. So again, even though Daniel Jones is a very fast QB, he's a scrambling QB. Most people in MUT are not using escape artists. I will say that most quarterbacks and regs do not get escape artists. So the majority of people are using guys like Josh Allen. Even though Josh Allen does have some speed to him, he doesn't exactly have escape artists. He's not going to be able to scramble out. And for whatever reason, the CPU, I don't know how they do it, but they do scramble out faster than the QB's user controlled will be in Ultimate Team. So it's not as big of a worry as it is here defending the Giants. So again, that setup, I pressed my defense. I manned up A on RB, and I manned up this X linebacker on Y. Again, I just sent both of those DNs in curl flat zones, kept my user on a blitz. So again, I'm gonna defend this with myself, and he does get that weird animation, but you see minimal gain. We do have players in the flats that you can press that RB or that right stick button in, and they will rush the quarterback by themselves. So not the biggest worry in the world. Again, if you did want to kind of mix in like just a little bit of man coverage, you can always just man up one of these guys. You don't necessarily have to man up both guys, but again, we'll hop into our last setup here, and it's going to be a little bit of a weird setup. It's going to be kind of a cover 3 to it's going to be like a cover 3 clad, excuse me, kind of got confused there. But what you're going to do is you're going to throw A in a curl flat, basically like the same thing we did, but what you're going to do is put B in an outside third, and you're going to put LB in an inside third. So it looks like this. Obviously, we have a curl flat, and our curl flats are sent to 5 yards, so what we need is a deep flat zone. So we're going to put, we can either shade underneath and shade over the top like this, and then just put B in the curl flat, or we can go ahead and put, or just keep A in the curl flat and throw B in a hard flat. Usually what I go with is I shade underneath, shade over the top, so I turn that player into a cloud flat, and then I just put my D lineman in a curl flat. Again, this is a little bit more advanced, but this is just a good way. Again, you just mix in between these setups, you'll have pretty good success. And then obviously on the left, I can throw X in a curl flat because we don't want to rush 2 with this setup. This is another one where you can rush 3. Still a very good safety help over the top, and this can be confusing, especially if people are like trying to hit you with the streak route or whatever. But again, a very decent bluff blitz. Geez, I don't know why Smith didn't get out there. Sometimes the D linemen aren't the best. So what I also recommend doing with your lineup is getting outside linebackers here. So Zadarius Smith, he's obviously, a D lineman. He's going to have bad coverage stats, bad speed like that. So you can get some good coverage guys out there. And I think you can actually sub in middle linebackers. So if you know you're going to send these guys out in coverage a lot, that's something that you could go ahead and do. So, geez, I accidentally snapped the ball there. But yeah, it's pretty much going to do for the video. I gave you guys like 4 or 5 setups. Really, really nice setups that I run online all the time. You can mix this in with a lot of other plays. You can always mix this in with like a cover 2 man. It really does give kind of the same look on defense. You see the safeties didn't move. The only people that moved were a little bit of those linebackers and corners. So yeah, I really recommend switching between these plays. Again, don't run cover 2 every play because people can catch on. Maybe have a deep cover 2 beater. Be careful. But still, really, really good to mix in. I run this cover 2 a lot. And yeah, it's pretty much going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and peace. I'm out of here.